The Paul Leslie Interviews.
It is with great pleasure that we welcome our special guest, Mose Allison. First of all, thank you so much for giving us this interview. It's a great pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
I think most stories are best from the beginning, so tell us how you got started with music.
Oh, well, I took piano lessons when I was 5. As soon as I started picking out tunes that I heard on the jukebox and radio, and I quit taking piano lessons after about three or 4 years. But I learned the keyboard, and that helped. So I'm pretty much self-taught after that.
And tell us about the types of music that you grew up listening to.
Boogie Woogie. Boogie Woogie was popular in the 30s. Everybody was making Boogie Woogie records, and that's how I started playing. I started playing Boogie Woogie, and my father was a stride pianist. He played semi-professional, and he played when he was younger, but he took over the general store after that. So I started playing Boogie Woogie, and that's how I started. And I discovered Nat King Cole, the trio, when I was about 13 or 14, and that's when we got electricity in Tippo.
Well, tell us a little bit about the village of Tippo.
What do you want to know?
What was life like growing up for you down there?
I was born on a farm 3 miles south of Tippo. Tippo was just a crossroads with a couple of general stores and a service station. And the train used to come through there because they used to put cotton bales on the train. I used to do that sometimes, putting cotton bales on the train in the boxcars. And so it was a farming community, cotton farming mostly at that time, although there was corn and a few sugarcane, yeah.
I was hoping you could tell us about some of the music that you listen to as far as artists. One of my favorites, I read that you were a fan of Fats Waller.
I started listening to Fats Waller, but he didn't affect my playing that much. I liked Fats Waller, and my father particularly liked Fats Waller, but he was a stride player, and I started playing Boogie Woogie, which is a different thing altogether. And I listened to Louis Jordan a lot, and at that time, and as I said, I discovered Nat King Cole when his trio, and then I discovered Errol Garner, and so that's the people I remember most.
Can you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yep, it was called the 14-Day Palmolive Plan. And when I wrote it when I was about 13, it was about radio commercials.
Interesting. Your songs have been covered by so many different people. It's such a long list from Eric Clapton, Bonnie Raitt, Elvis Costello. Is there a cover of one of your songs that you're most proud of?
Not really. I like for anybody to do my material, and of course I like for them to get mechanical license. So I get royalties from it, and they don't always do that, but that's the ones. I mean, the big ones usually do that, and so Peter Townsend he's still. I'm still getting money from his record of my Young Men Blues, and he did that, and it's become a video game now.
So what brought you to New York State?
Well, I heard that the jazz musicians were making money, and I wasn't making any money. I was playing in nightclubs throughout the South and in Texas a lot, and I was just getting by. I was married, and my wife had a job usually, and we just sort of got by. I heard that people were making money in jazz in New York, and so I decided to come to New York.
I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about the Backcountry Suite.
Well, I put that together before I came to New York. I remember hearing when I was at LSU. I remember hearing a Bartok piece that was based on folk songs and things, and it was a very simple piano piece. That's what gave me the idea. I figured I could do something like that with the music I grew up with.
I was hoping you could also tell us a little bit about meeting Al Kahn.
I met his wife first in Galveston, and I played behind. She was a singer. I played behind her one night at a jam session, and she told me that if I ever came to New York to look up Al, she gave me his address and everything. And so when I came to New York, I called him up, and he offered me. He had me out to dinner and started helping me, with gigs. And so he was very influential in my beginnings in New York.
I was hoping you could tell us about what it is.
You're hoping a lot.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the truth.
What are you hoping now?
When somebody goes to hear you perform, or when they listen to one of your records, what do you hope the listener gets out of the experience?
I don't care what anybody's listening to. I don't involve myself in that. I just do it.
Of all the songs you've written, do you have a favorite song?
Nope. The favorite song is the one I'm writing. I haven't written many songs in the last few years, so.
You've had the chance to play all around the world. Is there a favorite place?
Nope.
What about a memorable concert?
Well, they're all memorable as far as I'm concerned. I can't pick out one and make it more memorable than anything else. It's the challenge that you face every night when you play. Every night you have to make the music happen, and it takes a lot of concentration and focus. And sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's not.
Are you working on recording anything at the moment?
Well, I recorded about 3 weeks ago in L.A.
Is this going to be a release, an album release?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that was the idea.
Well, could you tell us a little bit about the album?
The person who I trusted on the album was the producer, Joe Henry. He's from Detroit, and he had me on a gig in Dusseldorf, Germany, a couple of years ago, and he said at the time he wanted to make a record. And he kept calling me and writing me about it, and so I finally decided to do it. And he had a great reputation as a producer, and I figured, well, I might as well just do what a producer wants and let it go at that. So I didn't, I just went out there and played with whatever he had there,
What musician that you've played alongside of has impressed you the most?
They've all impressed me. That's nothing that anybody can answer. I can't answer it. I wouldn't even attempt to answer it, because different guys go through different stages, and sometimes the same guy will sound good and not so good, so it's impossible to answer that.
You passed on your love of music to a lot of people, including your daughter, Amy Allison, and she's also a musician. So I was wondering if you could tell all the listeners about her. We
did a duet on the album I just made. I was looking for a Buddy Johnson song, which was made in about 40s, in the 40s probably. I kept looking for this thing, and I could never find it. She finally found it. We did a duet on it, and it's an unusual tune in that it's 2 parts, and they're a fifth apart. I don't know whether you know anything about music or not, but they're a fifth apart, and so it gives it an interesting flavor. And so it's called This New Situation, and it's on the. And I also did one of her tunes. Everybody thinks you're an angel, but you're a devil. You can't fool me. And I did one of her tunes, that one. You know, she's opened shows for me a couple of times.
If you could put it into words, what is it you like about music?
I wouldn't try to put it into words. Because words, the reason is because I don't like words.
You've been performing for a long time. You've had a very, very illustrious career. What is it that keeps you going?
The challenge, just as I just said, is the challenge of playing every night, because you never know how it's going to go, you know, and you have to try to concentrate and make the music happen, you know, and that takes some effort, you know, and it doesn't happen automatically. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You have to face the challenge of making it work every night. And so I'm more interested in the next job I play than I am in the past.
Is retirement ever even a thought?
Not particularly, because you know this is the only thing I've ever done, and I've been working, you know, quite a bit lately, and so you know I figure as long as the people will pay to come to see me, I'll do it.
I read an interview with another Mississippian, Jimmy Buffett, and he said that you were one of his biggest influences, or inspirations rather, to continue playing music because of the depth of your career.
Yeah, well, I know him. You know, I've met him, and I played in a club he had in New Orleans.
I've heard rumors also that he's going to cover one of your songs.
Oh, yeah, well, that's fine with me.
Mr. Allison, I really appreciate you giving us this interview, but I have two final questions.
Okay.
What is your all-time favorite meal?
I have no idea, because I've had lots of meals, and a lot of them have been good, and so you know, I couldn't answer that. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to answer to that.
My final question: this broadcast is going out all over the world. So my last question: what would you like to say to all the people that are listening in?
Nothing. Because the songs are the thing, you know. The songs express my feelings, and if you listen to the songs, you won't have to hear anything from me else otherwise.
Mr. Allison, I appreciate you giving us this interview.
Okay, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.